this is the HTML file for the app called Colorful. It starts out with the header and then the body. In the body it defines the canvases, and then it requests the P-code engine, which is at A001.js. Then down here at function build is where the Colorful app data actually starts. But before we go through that data, we need to learn about the special markers that are contained inside this data. Here's where the markers are defined. First, $~A tells you it is the end of the first note. $B is the end of all subsequent notes. $C is the end of the first app page. $D, all subsequent app pages will end with app. The names will end with $E. The app list will end with $F for the first app list. All subsequent app lists will end with $G. Now the values that make up the P-code program itself, the first or main program will end with $H. All subsequent subprograms will end with $I. Comments. The comments for the main program will end with $J. All subsequent programs, that is the subprograms, will end with $K. Also markers are, if there's a $0, it means it's just a $. $1 means it's actually a quote. $2 replaces apostrophes or single quotes. $3 replaces all reverse slants. If there are over 4,223 spaces in a row, there will be a $0. If there's a $1, it means the next character tells it how many spaces there are to skip. $2 says there are 2 characters that say how many spaces it's to skip. If there's a number followed by the @ sign, it's to tell it to insert a certain number of zeros. Also, here is the layout for a P-code instruction. Each P-code instruction has 12 values. Here they are values at offset 0 to offset 11. At 0 offset is the number for the action. Next is the label number at offset 1. At offset 2, if there's a 2 label number. Then there are the 3 addresses 1, 2, and 3. Each can have a number for a name that is used. It can have an offset. It can have a plus register. So for the first one, these are at offset 3, 4, and 5. There can be a second address. It could have a name, offset, and plus register. They're at offset 6, 7, and 8. And last, there could be an address 3 that has a name, offset, and plus register at 9, 10, and 11. Now we're going to go through the data for the Colorful app. We start here at the build, and I'm going to ask it to advance until the first $sign that it sees. Here is the first $sign, and it ends with an A. That means it's the end of the first note. Well, now I'm going to tell it to advance again to a $sign. Here is a B marker, meaning the end of the second note. Now advance again. Here's another B marker, indicating the end of another note. And we also see that the next note starts with $1, indicating that the very next letter tells it how many spaces to skip before it starts the note. Now we'll advance to that, and then we'll advance to the next. Here is the end of another note. We'll advance again. Now we find the end of another note, and we notice that there's a lot of B markers indicating more notes. So now I'm going to make it advance to the end of all the B markers. I found the end of the B markers. The next marker will be for the end of the first app page. That would be app page A. Here is the marker for the first app page, $~C. And after it, we see $~D. So that'd be for app page B, and then C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, all the way to app page K. So here we see that the other app pages are all blank. Next will be marker E for the names, and here you can see the names starting. First one's pattern. Now I'll advance it. The last name given was varb60, and here we see the marker for the end of names, $~E. Well, next is going to be the app list. And it starts out by saying there are 50 zeros in app list A. Then there's a 2, a 3, a 4, a 0, a 5, and so forth. And here we see the end of the first app list here with the marker F. I'm going to advance to beyond there. The app lists contain 500 values. I'm finding that all the other app lists are full of zeros. That is, here you see 500 followed by the @ sign, meaning it's all zeros. And for all the other app lists, that's what I'm finding. And here's the last of the app lists. Here we see the beginning of the main program's P-code instructions. Remember, each instruction contains 12 values. Well, let's count out 12 values here. 448, 0, a 1, a 1, 3 zeros, a 1, and 4 zeros. That gets us to 12. So this next value here, 336, is the value of the second action. Back here, this 448 was the action value, and that's, I believe, for branch of equal. Followed by a 0, meaning that instruction does not have a label. But then a 1, meaning the to label, is AA. That's the index for the first label, which is AA. That is followed by a 1 in the position where the name is given. Name number 1 is explanation G, the very first global register. That's what this 1 indicates. Well, then it says there are 3 zeros. Well, the first 2 zeros would be that there's no offset given and no plus register value. Well, that would be right because this is a register. It can't have an offset or a plus register. Then there's another 0 indicating that the address to field does not have a name. However, it has this value of 1. And then there are 4 zeros. Well, the first 0 after that would indicate there's no plus register involved. The other 3 zeros indicate that there's no name, offset, or plus register for the third address. And then we start here with another action number, 336. Next two things are 0, meaning it doesn't have a label and it doesn't have a to label. Now I've advanced to the next $sign, which is an H marker, which indicates the end of the first program. That would be the main program. So we see it goes on after that because the colorful app does have one subprogram. So now I'm going to tell it to advance to the next $sign marker. Here is $tilde-I, and this indicates the end of the first subprogram. Since it only has one subprogram, there will be no more $tilde-I's. Instead, what we'll have now are the comments. And the comments are going to end with $tilde-J. And here we see that the main program had only one comment with label AA, which said the colorful has been initialized. Well, we'll advance again. Now we found the end of the labels for the first subprogram, because here is $tilde-K. So the last of the labels in the first subprogram is label AF. After that, we see no more $tilde-K's, and that's right because there are no more subprograms in colorful. But we do see $tilde-Z, meaning there is no more information for the colorful app. And here is the end of this function called build, the end of script, the end of the body, the end of HTML. So this is the HTML file for the colorful app.